The special CEC was convened following Cosatu's constitution. Did the matter discuss the complaint of other affiliates, whether this was convened properly or not? The answer is yes, and the meeting indeed agreed that it was properly constituted. The meeting agreed it was constitutionally constituted. The expressions of NUMSA that even after the meeting had satisfied itself that it was properly constituted, that they felt, they remained convinced it was not, is recorded in the minutes, but also is recorded that the meeting agreed that it was properly constituted, that meeting following Cosatu's constitution. We'll have debates about democratic centralism. We'll have debates about what if I'm not happy about the meeting itself, because then can arise a question whether I am happy, do I want the meeting to take place? That will be different from, is the meeting properly constituted? So you have our constitution in our website, you can judge. We followed due processes and the meeting itself was satisfied. It was properly constituted. Let me deal with the more closer one, which is linked to Tula's second question of the expression by the president of Cosatu before the special CEC, having said the whole thing has brought Cosatu into disrepute. Some of you would know that I've asked you back the same question but put it differently. Would you be happy if I said, no, it has made Cosatu's name to be so good I've asked yourself, you can't answer me when I ask you that question. Should I have said the opposite? Would it have made you feel better? That is now water under the bridge. The CEC never discussed that because it was not an issue for discussion. The rationalization of the whole thing to be in the purview of deep divisions and politics in the federation is an unfortunate assertion, really, comrades. And we continue in each and every moment we can get. One, to persuade yourselves that even if you have your internal sources saying or telling you that the president has his followers at Cosatu, the general secretary has his followers at Cosatu. We don't build organizations like that. It's a perception that has now found itself to be a fact in society. We do not want to continue. What we are focusing at is how best do we build this Cosatu. We found it here. We will go. Cosatu will remain the workers' eNCA in South Africa. To continue to perpetuate this in whatever way is dangerous. Those who continue to even drive a wedge between leaders, the slave drivers, are helping the enemies of Cosatu. So Tulas, I can't answer your question to say we deny or we don't deny that. We'd rather spend time talking to the public and members and workers in general to say, build this federation. There is basically no animosity between two leaders here. Cosatu engages in its own processes. The current process underway, facilitated internally by Charles Mashishi and Zwelinzima Vavi, has got to respond to that question. It is dangerous for everybody to keep on repeating what is under discussion internally right now and repeat it publicly. It becomes worse when you then focus on the current issue under discussion and say it is informed by politics. It cannot be. This one cannot be at all. It just cannot be. And everybody keeps repeating that lie. There is no political conspiracy. There is no political conspiracy even on this matter, because there is no way it can be a political conspiracy issue, this matter. So we urge our members, we urge leaders to be able to contend with the fact that our duty as leaders, as affiliates, is to work internally, strengthen this federation, and do not pronounce outside the parameters of the protocols we have agreed to as the federation. Well, if your intention is to build Cosatu. But if your intention is something else, then we have no control on what you say. But if your intention is to build this federation, this is what we are all about, this collective. Chair Peggy wants to add something.
No, I just want to answer two questions. Is Zwelinzima Vavi will be allowed to be in the building? He is in the building now. He's suspended in terms of giving leave, but in the building. Any employee of any organization, when you are suspended, there are arrangements made in terms of coming to a workplace, especially on regard to some investigation. If you want them to be free, to be fair, you'll put arrangement, and those arrangements will be communicated to the person aggrieved or put on special leave, how they have to be regulated. So there are conditions in terms of regarding to information that he may want, or information that the Federation may want from him during this kind of period. It's not unique. It's what always happens during such period. On the issues of the question as to, is this a smoke screen in regard to the issues raised that led to this action by the Special CC? The CC was fortunate enough that the General Secretary himself, he made a statement to the CEC in regard to these particular issues. It's not fabricated. He confirmed that he made a misjudgment from his part. He pleaded guilty. He apologized. So anybody who can come up and say, no, there's a big agenda here. There's nothing of this nature that's happened. People are just witch hunting the General Secretary. The answer is there to be seen. There has been some misconduct or alleged misconduct in terms of our procedures until proven otherwise, despite that the General Secretary has made admission publicly. We don't, in the Federation, use those public statements as a way of following this particular procedure. Want to follow a procedure, want to ensure it does not happen again, and people who go through that processes are able to know that this is a wrong action. So there's no kind of confusion among the CC delegation. Nobody raised that this thing did not happen, that this thing is correct. The General Secretary when he recused himself from this meeting, he made a profound statement. Don't look at me as an individual and try to protect. Look to the principle of the federation that they have to be held high at all times and they should be respected. It gives people the courage to discuss these particular issues and to push aside any other thinking and to allow this process to take its course. And we hope that people will respect and will be engaged in that particular process.
Your last one. Maybe the last one, which was the first question. Did Cosatu CEC discuss the Cosatu president's suspension? No, we didn't, because it was not in our scope. SADU met in their own meeting. They took a decision that relates to SADU as an organization. So the agenda of yesterday, you see, when you convene a special meeting, you confine yourself to the agenda of that meeting, and there was only one item. So even if there was temptation, it would not have been allowed, because on the agenda there was only one item to be discussed, and it was to give a report to the Special Central Executive Committee on the matter that Cosatu has been confronted with. Yes.
Okay, one more round. Karima, Jan, and they're in the blue shirt.
Right, so this press conference coming to us live from Cosatu House in Johannesburg. There you see Cosatu President Sidumo Dlamini, who's just told the media that after a lengthy discussion last night, that meeting of Cosatu's Central Executive Committee, Zwelinzima Vavi and his accuser in the sex scandal have been placed on special leave. Now, we understand that a process has begun and they will in due course attend a series of disciplinary hearings to deal with the conduct of both of these individuals. The
question also being asked, how long is this special leave going to be in place? Joanne, the Central Executive Committee coming out and saying that by the next time they meet, I believe the date to be the 16th of September, call it mid-September, around 4 weeks from now, there will be an independent investigation starting between now and then to conduct these disciplinary hearings. They are hoping to have a finding by the time they meet again on the 16th of September. Joanne, I see a tweet coming in now from Zwelinzima Vavi as well. He is quite active on social media. He now said in the past few minutes, quote, "In my office, packing my essentials, clearing my desk, will speak tomorrow or Saturday." So Zwelinzima Vavi, the now suspended General Secretary, responding to what's happening today.
We understand as well that they've made it very clear. They've come out emphasizing the fact that these two individuals, despite being on different rungs of the employment ladder at Cosatu, will be treated extremely fairly and equally during this process of the disciplinary hearings. The NUMSA complaint also being discussed, but of course it was said that the CEC decided without any disagreement that the meeting was indeed properly constituted.
And also not giving the actual charges. So to sum up for you, the General Secretary of Cosatu, Zwelinzima Vavi, is now on special leave until the very least the 16th of September, as is the original complainant in this particular issue.
News that moves. eNCA.com.